You know what I learned this weekend, Jon Ritchie?
Fashionable?
That the Philadelphia Phillies can win a series against the New York Mets. Didn't think it was possible.
Feeling
at home
fashionable.
they do.
Yeah. Look, they'd really obviously struggled. Lost the 3 against the Mets earlier this season. Had come off the playoff series. And look, it wasn't a perfect weekend. Obviously, we were there on Saturday. We saw what happened. But I think coming out of this weekend, we went into this series, biggest series of the season. First place on the line. Both teams actually tied for first place when the series started. And look, the Phillies came out on top. They won 2 of 3. We sit here today. The Phillies are in first place in the National League East. They've played their best stretch of baseball, arguably of the season, winning, 11 of 13 or something like that. Jon Ritchie, I ask you, as we sit here at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, pretty much about halfway through a baseball season, how you feeling about the Phillies this morning, my friend?
Yeah, man. I'm loving life this morning, Jimmy. I feel pretty darn good about where we sit, and I think that stems initially from just the comfort of the greatness of the starting rotation. That just what that provides me, going back to when we lost the World Series to the Astros, and it just felt like they were so indomitable because of their starting pitching, just an unpierceable wall of you. There's not even defense. It's just you can't even hit them. Here we sit with 4 starting pitchers who, man, it is nasty. And you talk about the talented leftiness of it all too. Like I love the lefty part of baseball, being a left-hander myself, but we've got 3 lefties with different leftiness working for them. Just like, how do you prepare for the Philadelphia Phillies starting rotation? You tremble, and that feels great. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. You've got an assortment. I know McAble struggled, over the weekend, Saturday, but it's been a mixed bag with him thus far. We got Andrew Painter waiting in the wings. We got, remember, once upon a time, Aaron Nola.
Still a member of the
Aaron
Philadelphia
Nola
Phillies,
is on our team, and he was, our 2 for forever, or even our 1 once upon a time. But that goes way back. But anyway, it feels great because of the starting pitching, and it feels great because we just won by a football score. You take the weekend all combined together.
I like this.
21
to 14. They won by 7. It's good work.
21-14, man. That's an offensive explosion, if you ask me. I'll take seven runs a game. I like that. Let's stay there and above, because that's when we're thriving, and we can do that. That's the beauty with this starting rotation, with the offense just doing some stuff, which is, we should be able to do that with this lineup. I feel good. I feel good about our chances. I know baseball is as hit and miss as it gets, but we're going to be hitting a lot more than missing, offensively speaking. So I feel like you emerged from this weekend. We are now atop our division. We just, bested a division foe in no small way. I mean, that was a dominant weekend. So I feel like, hey, it's a statement win. It's we are where we need to be, and we can be we can sustain this because of that starting pitching and my belief in these lefties especially.
215-592-9494. The Phillies take 2 of 3 from the Mets, and I think when you look at this team right now, and I've been hesitant to fully buy in on this group over the last month. They lost the 9-10, had that struggle, and have really righted the ship since then, all without Bryce Harper. And we'll get into the Bryce Harper injury update and where we're at with all that.
That's the thing. What if it's not too far-fetched that he is close? Bryce, what if we get Bryce Harper back? Bryce Harper in good Bryce Harper shape. That's another thing. I just have so much faith that he'll be there when we need him.
It changes the whole complexion of the lineup. And to your point, the starting pitching, I mean, you just look at the last 4 starts of the guys you're talking about. I mean, we saw Luzardo go 6 1/3 shutout yesterday. We saw Ranger go 7 shutout in his last start, or 7-1 run. Sanchez 8-1 run. Wheeler 5 shutout on Friday. I mean, that starting four, with Abel, Painter, Nola, that fifth spot kind of figuring it out as we go. But really when the playoffs start, even if Nola never gets back to where he is, even if Painter isn't what we hope, those four are those four. Like, theoretically, if guys stay healthy, you should have Wheeler, Suarez, Sanchez, and Lazardo in a playoff series. That's going to give you a shot in any series. Obviously, the bullpen needs work. A decent weekend from the pen outside of Saturday, but they need work. But the bat's starting to give you some hope, and look, they still need to add. We know that, but without Harper, Schwarber continues to put up MVP numbers. Turner,
he's masterful.
Trey Turner has been fantastic, man.
Right.
We have not given him enough credit. It's hard to say it.
You know what?
He's running, he's hitting, he's leading the league in hits.
And his defense has been snappier.
It's been better.
Better. But Kyle Schwarber, what a leader. What a consistent, he's just a dominant baseball player. Kyle Schwarber, what confidence, and what we should feel so proud as a fan base about this guy. The way he does it, the way he leads that group of guys, man. I'm such a huge fan.
He's having an MVP type of season, and him and Turner really do deserve a lot of credit for being so good and so consistent without Harper in there. Because when Harper's not in there, the lineup, when you look at the lineup, and look, Bohm's been so much better. Stott,
Alec Bohm is now batting 290.
Yeah, since the homer.
Think about where he was.
Oh, totally.
And when I was saying he should be booted, Alec Bohm has come so
much
far
better. Brandon Marsh is hitting now, and they're starting to really put it together. And again, look, we know the caveat hangs over this team. All that matters is what they do in the playoffs. Will they hit? Will they? You'll have the right approach offensively in the playoffs and all that. But so far so good. I think you have to be happy with what you're seeing. And in terms of this team, hurtling towards the trade deadline, a little over a month away right now. They're really making the case that Dave Dombrowski, that the organization should invest in them, should say this team is worth giving up some of the maybe Justin Crawford or Mick Gable or whoever it maybe is.
And you were a little hesitant to say that.
I've been very hesitant, and this weekend has started to turn. I know it's just a series in the regular season, but I'm starting to turn with this team.
Yeah, it's time, man. It's time. This team is that good. They can be that team that pulls this off. The big pull, the big thing.
And look, I thought about it a lot last night, and congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning a championship after a process rise towards
youngest
it.
Team. They're
actually getting to
grown team.
They did the process. They did it. They did exactly what the Sixers did without saying it, without the fanfare. They traded Paul George for a bunch of draft picks. They started over. They
did
tanked.
It right.
They did do it right, but they did the same thing, but it worked. But congratulations to them. But I did watch that last night, thinking about an Indiana team that if Halliburton doesn't, and what a shame.
That was 3 for 4 3-pointers.
He came out super hot, on fire, and that was about as disappointing an in-game injury for a non-Philly athlete as I remember in a long time. It felt like we got robbed of something last night.
Ryan Howard.
Sure.
Ryan Howard got all those injections in that ankle.
Yep.
And
it reminded me of Durant in the Golden State series. He had that injury earlier in the playoffs, and then they lose him the Kawhi one that he won. You see that, but it did make me think of, look, Tatum was lost for an Achilles there. We saw it in baseball last year too. We see it every year in these sports where it does become a bit of a war of an attrition at the end of the season. And it gave me hope for the Phillies. I know that's kind of a weird thing, but it gave me hope to remind me, baseball can get weird at the end of the season. People get hurt. Things happen. You just got to get yourself in the dance with a real chance, with a squad that has a shot. And I do think this Phillies team is good enough. I think they're at that level. They need some moves. But I'm starting to believe. 215-592-9494.
There was a stat yesterday was the 44th game this year where the starter's gone at least 6 innings.
Yeah, that's massive.
That leads Major League Baseball. Our starters, and to your point, our bullpen does need help. That is an area that must be addressed. If this team is going to go and win the World Series, which is the ultimate goal, of course, it needs help there, and help, plural arms. So that's certainly the focus as wheels are turning. But man, the starters are fantastic when you think about that 44th game where the starter's gone 6 innings. That's depth. That's less need for bullpen help than those other teams out there.
Yeah, the only concern about that is when you get to the playoffs, you hope that those guys' arms aren't too burned out from pitching too much over the course of the season. You worry about managing those guys who get to the playoffs.
How does that balance out?
Does the fact that you don't have bullpen arms mean that they keep guys in a little longer than they should and all that? So it does get to be a bit of a balancing act. But I agree with you. I think when you look at this team right now, looking at those 4 starters and what they have at the rotation, should give you hope. Like, that is something that could be a reason they win the World Series. 215-592-9494. Where are you at with the Phils after a massive series, the biggest series of the season, the biggest win of the season, taking 2 of 3 from the Mets? We're going to get into the Bryce Harper injury. We got some updates on that over the weekend. How far away is Bryce? What is the potential for a trade for the Phillies? Where is that